Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Ian's Adventures once again in the great outdoors. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Enjoy the video. Right guys, I've found the silver birch there and another silver birch there, and there's 2 points of reference straight across which I can use to put my shelter against. And I found this nice big lump of wood. Which I'll be using as my cross pole. It says there, from there to there. But that looks good to me because I can build that up to there. It gives me this little space inside here to become my campsite. That's going to be at the back. So what I'm going to do now, I've got that there, is to find a piece of the wood to go up against this. Now the only issue I've got is this one branch. So I'm going to put that on the outside. I'm not going to chop that branch, obviously, that would be bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that up and over. Top marks, we've started. Right, some of you guys out there, like I have done on some occasions, might be sitting there thinking, so where's he getting all this wood from? This is a managed wood, as most woods are. And the good idea is to go looking for the wood which the management have actually chopped back or deadfall. Don't go chopping down live trees. So I'm going out looking for these, and when I run out of them I'll be looking for deadfall. But basically you use what you can get. Right guys, I've just been over there and chopped that piece of wood with my axe, and how I don't know, because my knife is still in the sheath, but I must have done it with my axe. It is a sharp axe. I'll just clean this up a bit and I'll show you what I've done, and I don't understand how I've done it. Luckily, obviously in my backpack I've got my cut first aid kit. Now, I mean obviously sometimes you can just cut yourself. It's bleeding quite badly actually. You see, it's proper going for it and there's blood all over the floor. I mean obviously people have much worse. But I'm actually at this point I'm not sure if I've cut it with my axe or it's been something on the ground which has caused it. But I'm thinking it must be my axe. How? I do not know. I genuinely don't know. Because I can't remember at any point. And it's hardly out. It's just on the finger end. And just... That's... You see? That's all it is. It's just a slice. And it's bled well. It bled well. The thing is, I didn't expect it. So, I mean, I've got it all over my jacket. But so I didn't expect it. But I'm just glad I've got that out of the way now, because I think I was starting to feel a little bit bionic. Now I've got this stuff. This is good. It's a good fun. Let's find out if it works. I mean, it's only a little cut, but let's see if this is that bleed stuff. So we're going to rub that in there. Anybody's interested? Wound seal. You see it? It's called wound seal, and you just pour the dust on to the affected area and start to rub it in and see if it works. But it just really does show the importance of having a cut first aid kit, so you can basically deal with it and get back on with things. So there we go, great fun. Get another one of them, just clean around it, and I can put a little finger bandage on. What I've got Israeli bandages. Where are they? It's inside the bag, I think. There you go. I've got the Israeli bandage. I've got normal standard bandages. I've got wadding, stuff for cleaning up. I've got sterilised water and all sorts of stuff. That's stopped. That's totally totally stopped bleeding now. So I'm going to clean this area up around it. There was a lot of blood to start with. You can see all the blood all over the floor. It was proper gushing. And I was like, eh? I got on my jacket, the first thing I noticed, and I was like really confused as to where it was coming from. I was having to look all over my hand to find out what was going off. And then it's just a case of being a little. I mean, normally I'd put some wad in the end of there, but see what you do is you roll that up like that. You get the other end, you twist it, and then you twist it a couple of times. Then you roll it back on yourself, and you got a little bandage for your finger. That'll come off in a bit. Something to stop it, but just goes to show that it's important. That's all I wanted to show. It's important to have your cuts gear there ready for when something happens, and that was my axe. So it shows you how sharp my axe is. Just slit into my finger, top marks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of tips. When you go out into woods to collect wood, I advise going out for the furthest stuff first and then coming back, because as time goes by and as your body fuel starts to diminish, if you're in that situation, it's going to be easier to collect wood for your shelter, close to your shelter, rather than it's further away. Otherwise, when you get halfway through your shelter and find yourself exhausted and you can't go out into woods or wherever it is to collect shelter building material. So utilise energy properly. Another thing, when you do go out, don't just bring back one piece of wood at a time. Make sure you bring 2 or 3. That way you're going to save on energy, etc. And there was another one. Oh, be careful of the brambles, because it might just look nice and pretty, but when you're walking through it, there's a good chance they'll leg you up. So always walk with your knives and your axes mounted in your sheaths with your blade protectors on. Alright? This plaster's disgusting. That bleed stop's really good. It literally stopped it bleeding immediately. Okay, the shelter's coming together now. It may look to you as if it's quite vertical, but there's loads of room in there for me, and I've already started putting these pieces of wood down in the bottom. Then I'm going to fill that with leaves, and then I'm going to put the other piece of the wood on top to build the bed. That's going to give me some insulation. But I'm also going to put another piece of wood across here, I think. In fact, no, I don't need to. I was a bit worried that that wood wouldn't hold it because of the weight, but it's doing perfectly fine. So yeah, upward and onward. Okay, 3 gems of ginger wisdom. Right, axe. We've talked about making sure that you've got your blade protector on. The next thing is, I think you know it's coming, wet weather. In my pouch I have a little rag, when I can find it. It's definitely, here we are, I think. I've got a little rag that I use for cleaning my knives if I need to, just for wiping off. But I also use it in wet weather for keeping my handle dry. I mean, you could put some kind of coating on these, some kind of tape, that grippy gun tape stuff. But what I do is just take a cloth, and every now and again I'll dry my hand so I can get good grip on the handle, because if you've got a wet handle and a wet axe, when you go to use it, there's a good chance it's going to come flying out of your hand. But it's always good to allow gravity to do the work to a degree, so you're not absolutely slamming the hell out of the axe. If the blade's sharp, it'll cut. if it's not so sharp, you're going to have to absolutely belt hell out of it. Alright? Always make sure your blade's pointing away from you also if it's on a belt. And there was something else. Oh, that's it. When using an axe, I got off then. When using an axe and you're cutting pieces of wood to length, it's very easy sometimes when you're tired to get your piece of wood and just hack it on the ground. Don't do that. You don't want to give your blade any dirt time, because as soon as you start hacking into the ground, it's like hitting the end of your blade with sandpaper, and that's going to dull your blade. I got there eventually. Right, and I've got about 2 pieces now for my wallet shelter. Oh, by the way, that's totally stopped now, bandages off. It wasn't sliced, but it was sliced into my nail and the end of my finger, and it's obviously the blood vessel, so it bled a lot bit now. Okay guys, so we've got this basic shelter wall made, alright? That in itself, obviously it's not going to keep rain off. And in a wood like this, you're not going to get perfectly straight branches, because that's just the nature of the beast. They've all got lovely figures on them. So you just do the best that you can. Now what I do now is I'm going to start putting an infrastructure on there that I can put leaves against. And this is going to take a lot of leaves, and this is part of the fun. Collecting leaves can be a bugbear and a lot of people hate it, but you've got to go and get them, pick them up, throw them on, and just keep throwing them on and throwing them on. And I'm going to put some of this bracken on there as well as an infrastructure underneath to stop the leaves falling through any of these holes. Isn't it great fun? But there you go. I've had to put 2 branches across there. I didn't think I would have to, but eventually I saw I've got quite a lot of weight on there. So I've put 2 supporting beams across the top, and that's now solid. Upward and onward. Okay, so now the areas where I thought the leaves might go through have been filled with the dead bracken. I can now go through the wonderful process of adding leaves. Right guys, so we've got to this point where I've covered the drive face of the shelter wall with 3 inches of leaves all over, and I used that bracken there, look, to fill the gaps in so the leaves don't come through in. That's not really, I mean, it will give me some waterproof capability, but it's not the entire reason for it. If I wanted to make this waterproof with leaves, it'd have to be a lot more. It'd have to come from there right out here, so it'd just be a massive pile. This way I'm going to use bramble, because there's all these brambles, and in nature a lot of animals utilise brambles as some form of protection from wet weather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take strings of these and place them over the top of that, and it's also going to help hold it all together. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come around and show you on the other side. Have a look. So that's what we're looking at. You can see there that the wind's not going to come through, and that's really going to help us, because once we're building a shelter we need to try and keep the wind off us. If the weather turned bad, I mean, there's a good chance some of those leaves might blow off, but if the weather turned bad, it's going to give me some kind of shelter initially before I get all these brambles on the back end of that shelter. I've put the wood down already, ready for the leaves to go between and then the wood to go on top, so we've got a thermal layer underneath us, and then we've got a wood floor on top of that, and then just here round about there we'll be having a fireplace built, and then I'm going to put sticks down the front here at either side of the firewall. So I have a firewall there pushing the heat back in. That end there will be the doorway. There'll be sticks leaning up against there and against there, and then we'll have the firewall just here pushing the heat back in, and I'm hoping to block that end off. So what we've got is a shelter with a fire, and the chimney sort of idea coming up here, and then all that area in there will be enclosed, and this end's not going to be waterproof. All it's going to do is keep the wind off, because at night time when you're sleeping in a shelter like this, one of the problems that we have is keeping the wind chill off us, considering I don't have a sleeping bag, I don't have a sleep mat, and all I've got is the clothes that I'm in. So I need to try and keep as warm as I can. Upward and onward. Alright, so now you're going to see that that's building up, all those little tiles, all those leaves are working as tiles, and it's the grabby bit that grabs hold of your legs and trips you up that holds it together, so when the wind catches it, it's not going to be as bad, and it's also good cordage, so you can get a split. I'm going to do later, get a piece, tight at one end, pull it across and tight at the other, and it's because all those little hooks, it grabs itself together. And you can get your own back, because while you've been collecting all these pieces of wood, you've been tripping over them. So I've been walking around and I've tripped over this. I thought I'm coming back to get you. But another point is, if you're doing this in a stealthy manner, don't collect all these from where you are, because they're all going to grow around, yeah? And if you collect them from where you are, put them on your shelter, there's none around you. So you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. So a good idea is to go further afield, cut a few off, and then drag them all in together, and we're going to show you how to do that now, because these little devils are not the easiest thing to collect. Right guys, the worst thing you can do with these is be dominant. Don't be dominant, because as soon as you grab it and pull it, you're going to end up with about 1 million of these little spikes in your fingers. And I've put my nighttime gloves on to come and get them, alright? So you get your knife, okay? You caress it. You've got to be nice to it, and then you cut a few of them, yeah, and then get all the wood out, and then carefully, speak nice to it if you want to, just trim them out, like this, and I'm not putting any pressure on, alright? So all I'm going to do is this, watch, can you see me? I'm just going to walk backwards and take them with me, yeah, and as soon as I start to pull, I'm going to put my knife in and start to clear away whatever it is that's stopping it. So I'm getting nice light strands, but I'm not getting stuck with them. So there you go, I've got all them, but I ain't got any thorns in my hands. And then you take them back and use them. Okay, so you'll see just here, I've got some and tied it onto there and run it all the way across and tied it in at the other end, and all that's going to do is support all this, and off the other end is pull it back and tie it in on itself again. So other than a little bit there, that's going to do fine. That's going to be fine for what I need. Right guys, so now I've got the shelter built, I've got somewhere waterproof to put my stuff, so I've been able to take my coat off. Up to that point I had to keep my coat on because it just kept raining. And I'm a bit disappointed because the Met Office, maybe that's the BBC weather, but I think they get feed from Met Office, said it was going to be raining all day, all the way through the night to 5. So I'm still expecting rain, so I'm still basing my assumptions on it. We've got that, okay? I put a pole in there to mark out where the fire's going to be, and there'll be another pole put there. And then this is going to be my firewall, this will be my fire, and that heat, once that firewall's done, will radiate inside here. It'll be caught to a degree inside that area in there. Now I can't put my bed down until I know what size I'm going to be having my bed, alright? So, I've got to take my coat off now, I'm going to put a dab on. It starts raining, I put my coat on. Okay guys, so we've got to this point with these two set in here. They're just basically pinned into the ground, but they need bonding on the top. Yeah, so we've used it before, we'll use it again. There's other things out here I can use for cordage, we've done videos about that, but one of the easiest and most easily available things I've got here is bramble. So we're going to basically fill these things up with wood and then bramble tie it on top. Right guys, I want to show you the cordage that I'm using to tie the fire reflector. All I'm doing is I'm getting the bramble, cutting it back as so, Bramble for me can be used for so many things. There's so much strength in plants, alright? So we've got that, then all we're going to do, just run down and take those spines off. Alright, because they will make it difficult once you come to use it. Alright guys, so there you'll see that we've used bramble with the leaves and fronds removed to tie the tops of the fire. But let's just have a quick glance. That's where we've got to so far, and it don't have to be pretty because it's something to stop in, and we're under time duress, so you can only go as fast as you can in a day, if that makes sense. Right, down there on the floor, I've filled the floor with dead leaves. Now, it's a bit of a punishing one. I've got to go out and find more of these pieces of wood to go on top of those to create a floor. It's going to be great fun. Alright, so this is my front part of my floor. So I've just sharpened a couple of posts off, blade protector on. I'm just going to pop them in there. Okay, so I got to this point. I'm going to take that piece of wood and put it further back because I'm a little bit close. In fact, no, it's alright, I can just sit further back on here. I'm going to move that across there a bit because my leg, that's it. So what have I got to do now? Well, I've got my fire plot. I found a piece of stone, 2 large pieces of wood, and I've put some pieces of wood in the bottom. We've got his firewall up. We've got his bed down, only, I'll tell you what, do you know when I was making the video of the grass rope? Well, that's about half a mile from here, so what I'm going to do is put my coat on, walk over, fill my coat full of straw, and I might make about 3 trips, about 1.5 miles altogether. No, it'll be about 3 miles, won't it? Because it's there and back. Alright, it's been a long day. It's now 3 o'clock, and I know we'll lose light at 4, so I'm going to leave this as it is now. I'm under shelter, that's no problem. My fire's got plenty of room to get the heat out. I'm now going to go and fill my coat up with straw about 3 times, ram as much as I can so I look like Michelin Man. Come back and I'm going to put that straw down on top of this bed so I've got at least something to lay on. Alright guys, so this is going to be good fun. I decided to leave these walls open. I ain't had nowhere near as much rain as I thought I were going to have, and I was expecting the rain coming in, but it could rain later, so if it starts to rain I'll put up a little shanty stick effect, because what it does, it just reflects a little bit of that rain away, and I can just sit inside here very comfortably. Right, ladies and gentlemen, obviously I've had to bring my bag with me and everything else, because I can't leave it there because somebody might smash shelter in. Right then, I can see that some of this is fairly dry, which is good. So I'm going to start stuffing this in here, and I've got a lot of journeys. It's not actually as far as I thought, so I'm going to have to take my belt off as well, so I can fit more in. So I'll be able to fill this out the best I can, and then I'll get back there. Okay, first of all I've moved this bed back slightly so it's in line with the inside of the roof. We've had a downpour and no came through. I'm halfway back with some straw. I look like I'm massively pregnant, and then I so start I could carry more. If I took my coat off, rammed my coat full of straw and then zipped it up and carried it with arms over my shoulders, so winner. So this is the stuff that I've collected. It's a big compress because I've rammed it in my coat, but it's there. And some of the other stuff, if you watch my other video about gathering tinder, I think it's still on there, I can't remember if I removed it, it must be. Then I've got some of that stuff here, and I'm going to use it, I'm going to leave it in my coat and dry it out, because it's slightly damp, everything's wet. So I'm going to hold on to that inside my coat and let that dry out a little bit, so I can use it for my fire steel in conjunction with my tinder I've collected. I might get a little bit more and all actually. But there you go. But the temperature is dropping now. The time is, blimey, stay with me. My watch is jammed in my coat. Hang on. It's now 4:45 and it starts to get quite dark about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I'm going to crack on. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. There's all these little springy branches around here. So rather than just laying on this straw, I'm going to put the springy branches so I've got a bit more of a mattress. That tinder's drying out nicely, by the way. Can I do a shout out to Stephen Laidlaw? I used to call him Stephen PH. We're going to be doing another camp eventually using tents. The thought of it. Alright guys, see you in a bit. Okay, this birch which has been chopped down has been left, I think it's birch anyway, it's been left like this. Now I talk about multiple uses for something. I can use this to force springs on my bed, but like Carl Dobson from Sierra Survival, check out Sierra Survival, is in the Czech Republic, is a survival instructor, teaches bushcraft and all sorts of stuff. So go and check his channel out, we call that to you there, buddy. And he says, he was told, and he's learned, if it cracks, it crackles. Now listen, have you heard that? How it cracks? That tells me it's dry enough for using as tinder. Alright, so but I can also use it as a springy part of my bed before I put my straw on. So tonight I'll be sleeping like a bunny rabbit. And it's all down here with a big pile. Just keep cracking that off, all these branches, just lay it down to form springs on my amazing new double bed. Alright, you'll see now that I've put that down, it's got a bit of spring in it. It's also filled with fluid and gaps in. It's now time to start adding this straw. Now, the straw's a little bit damp, but not what I'm going to worry about. Only slightly damp, if anything. And I'm going to put most of it up here at the top end where my upper extremities are, because that's where all my major organs are, to keep me insulated during night. Okay, that feels a whole lot better already. Alright, so I've got my mattress sorted. I think it's time to try it out. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, I haven't stopped since I got here. I don't think I want to get up. You know what, I could just go to sleep now and not wake up all tomorrow. I know we're only sort of halfway through, whatever it is, through video, but I'm 49 years old and I see a lot of people who are younger not doing this, not getting out, not walking, not hiking, not using tents and camping, not going gorge scrambling, caving, potholing, climbing. Too many people are stuck in house, and I keep going on about it all the time, and it's a real bugbear. If I can do this, guys, you can. I haven't had nobody here to help me. I've just done all this myself. I've collected it, I've trimmed it, I've prepared it, I've brought it, I've put it together, I've learnt how to do it. Get out, guys, get on with it. What a wonderful free feeling to sit here in my own shelter with fire and my food, looking out into the woods. To know how to do it. You know, some people don't even know how to cut a lawn. They don't know how plants work. They don't understand the physiology of a plant. Very, very sad. Times are changing, and it's all changing badly. Why are we becoming virtual people now? It's like we're all becoming Sims. I go online, I go on Facebook, I'm ranting, aren't I? I go on Facebook, and I go on YouTube, and sometimes I'll stick some on Twitter and Instagram, very rarely, like when I put it on. But I'm not addicted I'm not stuck at it. I'm in my shed doing something, or I'm outside. I don't own a telly. I won't have one. It's too much subliminal rubbish that's being forced into your head, and it's forcing people to go. I'm going to do the boxers speech again, aren't I? We live in boxes. We're driving boxes to go to boxes, and then we die within a box, and then you look back and you think, there's a massive world around us. Go swimming, canoeing, I don't know, scuba diving, walking, paragliding, I don't care, just think outside the box. Think outside the box, and then you won't end up in boxes. That car up there is winding me up. Keeps driving up and down every time I go to video. It's got drooms like a Subaru or something, and it's like it's got a dump valve, and it's dropping out fuel down exhaust, I think. Right guys, I'm happy with that. I don't know about you. I'm happy with that. I can get all my stuff in here, and I know if it rains, it can bog. Right guys, the time is now 4:20. I advise everybody to get a G-Shock, by the way, really good, tough watches. It gets to this time and it becomes really settled and nice. There's a road about 3 miles away, it's really noisy, but other than that, it's really quiet. It's a lovely time of day. It's very peaceful, this is what I come out for, as well as night time. Ooh, we'll talk about ghosts later, look forward to that. I'm now going up from the grades of wood. I've sorted out my tinder stuff, from the tiny little sticks upwards to like 1 inch sticks. Now I'm going to work this down. So I've got a tinder pile, a fuel pile where my feet would go inside the shelter. So if it starts raining, I ain't got to panic too much because I've got a store of wood already in place. Oh, before I was speaking about Stephen Laidlaw, who I used to call PH. I heard somebody right at distance, and I didn't want anybody sort of walking in on my video. Way off like, but that's just me. He does wild camps, all kinds of stuff. He uses bivvy sheets, bashers. He also uses normal tents, and he's on a learning process, and he's doing really, really well. And you don't realise how good he's actually doing, because like I do, through learning yourself, you tend to teach others, and they go on the journey with you. And he's learning about map work, about scrambling on the hill, about going over unsteady ground, about finding locations, working out paths. And I'm going to be speaking to him soon about emergency routes, unless he's already done all that, and such like. And he's learning about map work and all sorts, so it's brilliant. Stephen Laidlaw, Stephen spelt S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Stephen, P-H I call him. Go and have a look at his YouTube channel, alright? He's got some brilliant videos, stopping in bovies and all sorts of stuff. Lovely guy. If you want to see him, I've done a camping here in Wunwell Woods with him. Alright guys, see you in a bit. Well, I've been for a lovely walk. I think I'm going to move this actually because it's just getting it way. I've been for a lovely walk and I got back and it's dark. So, it's time to crack out the tinder and to spark up a little fire. You know what, I better go up in flames tonight. I better get some ash comes on here while I'm asleep and it's all going to go up. Because I've been walking, I feel quite warm at the minute, but I know for a fact it's cold. Watch my breath. So I know it's cold, but because I've been walking, I'm not feeling it, but later on, when I become stagnant, I know I'm going to feel it. So this fire is going to be absolutely paramount to me. So I've got my little sticks, I've got my bits and bobs, and I crack that up, and Bob's your auntie. Let's have a look. Oh. Right, so we've got this little tinder, whatever, just there. There's little filings and there's bitsy bobs and there's tops, and we're going to get now. You know, I use my neck knife all the time. I've been here a bit upset about that. I love it. I'm going to get this beauty. Sort this one out. Pop that back up. There we go. And see if we can crack us a cracking fire. But, as everybody knows, me and fire is a no-no.
I accept that this tinder's a bit wet, so I'm going to give it benefit of doubt. What happens to them? Nothing. I know it's damp, you can see it's damp because all the moisture that's coming off it, but Lord be praised, finally. I've worked out basically just how to do it. I mean, it's not no other way of putting it. I've worked out how to do it. You just fix your hand to the bottom. You fix your hand onto the bottom, and then you like that, and then you pull. I know you pull it away, but I never had my hand totally on the floor, if that makes sense. Just been playing with mushrooms, fungus, horseshoe. I'll put it there and dry it out, see what I can do with that later. Right, it's time to have a nice cup of coffee. May I have my mug? Here we go. Right, my water's boiling. What I thought was going to happen as we're getting the rain. So I've just put 2 pieces of wood up here, and I'm just going to put slats of wood to the top. It's not going to stop all the rain, but it's going to stop my fire going too bad. I've just ate a bug. It flew straight into my throat. I don't know if that stops me being vegan now, because I've eaten a bug. Who's to say? Right, I've got a piece of wood. Where did I put a piece of wood? Now that rain's stopped. Well, I have got a piece of wood somewhere. I'm going to go and get my piece of wood, and I'm going to make myself a spoon. Hang on. Right, what I'm doing here is I'm going to get this piece of wood, move my feet. It's got more pieces of grass in that. Can't stop coughing now. Right, so we're going to make the spoon when we get around to it. It only needs to be a very basic spoon. It doesn't need to be anything at all clever. In fact, that's a spoon. Let me show you. That fly, it's proper stuck at the back of my throat. Okay, so something else. Let's pop this in here. All I'm going to do is put a little shaving at the end of that. Like that. Cut an indentation. at the end. Now this is not pretty, it's quick because I want to make my cup of coffee. Technically I don't need it, I just pour my stuff in, but this one. Now you could do this with an up knife a lot better, so I didn't bring my up knife. That's all it is, just a piece of stick with an indentation in the end. Always remember, put your knife back in your sheath, store it away. Alright guys, the water's just boiling back up again. I don't want it too stupidly hot. I'm going to take this amazing spoon and bang some in. Big mug. I don't normally use normal sugar, I normally use that, I don't know if you call it synthetic stuff, but if you get water on the other stuff, it just turns to mush. And a cup and some coffee in there. And it is working, it's a spoon. Well, it's raining, but my little diffuser's working. I'm impressed with myself. Smoke's going straight out of that way. All good. It might affect you a little bit, but not to worry. Now you'll know why I use waterproof tough cameras and waterproof head torches and all that business. Well, I'm going to turn this one off, and I'm hoping that you can still see. This is the torch I use for like sorting things out around camp, and the other one's the one I use for videography, so to speak. Right, so it's food time. Tofu time, ladies and gentlemen. You're all welcome. I've cracked up a little area there where I can put this in. Now I haven't brought I haven't brought any coconut oil, so, and tofu likes to burn. Put that on there. It enjoys burning, so I'm gonna have to put a bit of sweet and sour in. The problem with this is the sweet and sour in itself is sugar based. It's quite sugary, so it's like I'm liable to burn this. But as anybody knows, well, of my culinary, oh, I got it right. I normally say culinary, I've done it now, haven't I? Culinary skills, not the best, not great. So I was going to open the tofu in this particular way. Raining nicely out there now. Ooh, it's coming down. In for the dousing. Diddy-dee, diddy-dum. Diddly-dee. I get all this. Oh, hang on, I'm alright. Oh, I love cooking. I just can't do it. Yeah. A bit like a 5-year-old driving a car. Make sense? So I want to do there. I've got that in there. I've got that in there. So I'm going to open this up. You like how nicely I've opened that? That's cracking, isn't it? So, and I'm going to basically. Oh, I forgot about that. Where's my spoon? Got my spoon there. I'm going to empty some water out. Not too much though, because otherwise it's going to definitely burn. You can hear all that wood hissing and such like. A lot of people don't like tofu. It hasn't really got any taste to it, if I'm going to be honest. I'll do is slice it down like that, and then slice it down like that, and then just drop it, shut it in like that. So as you can see, there's There's a knack to it, isn't there? Yeah. A little bit more because I'm greedy. I'll pop that all there because I've done with that. I'll burn that later. And I'll just sort of, you know, chop that up. Now I've got to make sure I dry that and protect it. I've got some Vaseline in my bag, so I'll clean it up with that. So there we go, and that will now go just there, so it don't cook too fast. I'm going to clean my knife up, as you do. I put some Vaseline on that and I can put it away. I'll see you in a minute. Right, we're on to the peanut bit. This is where I put peanuts in. A lot of people don't get it, but... I just got blinded by smoke. There you go. Extra protein in there now. There we go. That's just the right distance. That rain's right coming down now, it's proper bouncing down. But I'm underneath here. Rain's coming from behind me and it's coming straight down over top. Great. And that's right, so I've turned the heat up a little bit in the kitchen because it's time to add the rest of the sweet and sour sauce. How exciting. In she goes. Looking impressive. Let's get rid of all this rubbish. That'll all just burn. Stir that in, warm it up. Okay, it's time. It is time for cauliflower rice. I've never had it before. I don't know what it's going to be like. It's exciting. In a very... Oh, it smells alright actually, I'm going to be honest. I was expecting to keep make. I don't know how they make rice out of the cauliflower. I have to say I'm confused. So we're going to give that a shot. Cauliflower rice. I'm quite sure people out there have tried it. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. Right, it's cooked. It's gorgeous. Well, I think it is. I ain't tried it yet. That rain's proper coming down now. It's pounding down. So, what's it going to be like? What do we think? Very nice. I like it. That's very nice. What a cool spoon. Thank you for watching my food bit. I look forward to this. In fact, when it's done, I get a bit upset because now I've got to wait till my next camp before I can do my food cooking again. Well, the wind is really picking up now and it's raining quite heavily. And I'm expecting that for rest at night. I'm alright up to now. I've had a couple of drips, but that's about it. So I'm going to get my head down and get myself a little bit of shut-eye. The fire's only low, don't need it really high. I don't feel cold when I do. I've got some bits of wood that I can bang on, so it's not a problem. And if it does go out during night, I'll just kick it back up again. So, from Wunwell Woods, me, Ian Lawrence, I'll say good night until the morning. Good night for now. Well, good morning ladies and gentlemen. I've just cracked my fire up for a cup of coffee. The time is now about 15 minutes past 5. We've got sun up at 7:30. It's been really warm in here because I'm quite close to fire, and I've just been sporadically waking up. I could feel the chill. My hair's all low. I could feel the chill as the fire died down. So I literally just woke up, threw some more wood on, went back to sleep. So what I'm going to do now, because I've got to get back, it's 5:30, I've got stuff to do. I'm going to take all the shelter down, then kill the fire out, totally kill the fire, and then just leave it as if I wasn't even here in the first place. So I hope you've enjoyed this camp. I certainly have. It's nice to get out in a minimal way without all the extras and sleeping bags and all that kind of stuff. And I advise anybody to try it. Just make sure you got the right clothing on. You've got to make sure you layer properly, and that you've got your fire. I mean, this fire is about 3 foot long. You could have it longer. It's like a long fire. That would have kept me even warmer. But blimey, my boot's really warm there. This has done what I needed it to do. Paranormal, I haven't seen anything, not yet. I mean, it's still 5:15. So there's still an opportunity that something could happen. But I haven't seen anything during the night, which is a bit of a shame really. I like to get a bit spooked out.